Hi everyone, my name is Chris Wilson. I'm the saxophone and guitar tutor here at Mount Sinai College and also one of the conductors at the school, involved in the great band program and music program that we have at the school. And I am here today just to give you a brief introduction to some of the recording projects my students and I have been doing over the last term and a bit. I came up with the idea of doing this in relation to having some time in term 3 to get students to work on duets and multiple track recordings in a separate way, and then bringing them together and using them as a tool for the students to hear themselves play and perform and perfect the pieces that they're working on, as well as bring them together as a good recording too, and teach them something of the process of studio recording as an introduction to that. So here is myself talking through the GarageBand process that we've been doing here at the school in our lesson time. Thank you. This is a duet that they will perform at soiree in term 4, and they've been working on this piece individually, and they've been recording it in their individual lessons, and then we bring it all together in this recording here. So here are the layers one at a time. We choose a drum track from the GarageBand's extensive drum library. We start off with that. This is just a nice shuffle beat. Then I'll put in a bass line. And this is following the chords of the song that the students are playing. Then I'll add in some guitar. Now I'll bring in a couple of the students playing along to this year 4 duet, starting with the first track is Mill playing a saxophone. We get a 2-bar count in. Okay, that's sounding really great. Bring in Sam, and you can hear the next saxophone part come in. This is part B. Just balancing the level. And now lastly, I'll bring in Raphael. So the benefits of that sort of recording where we're learning a duet with differing parts is that the students, when they play their part accurately, they can really see the result when the other part comes in. And so they're getting a pre-understanding of the piece of music ahead of time. And they're having to execute it pretty well because the recording process very accurately records the way they're playing, and they can hear their tone, and they can hear their phrasing, and they can hear their tuning. Very quickly and easily in the teaching room, which is fantastic. That's a very new sort of set of indicators and possibilities within the lesson time. So that makes it fun and exciting. It's a different kind of process. All right, thank you. This is a little version of TNT that we put together. As Samuel, as a fairly beginning guitar player, playing a riff that he's capable of, but it also gives us opportunity to layer some different kinds of playing, like higher guitar playing, a bit of soloing, and also augmenting chords with a second higher guitar part, which is really effective when you're in the recording process and in a recording mindset. I felt for us to really get the feel for the song that it needed a vocal, so for better or worse, there's a bit of a vocal from myself. So let's have a little quick listen to each layer at a time for TNT featuring Samuel. Hear the straight rock, straight beat, bring in Samuel's guitar. All right, we got there's some it starts to lock in pretty nicely. And we might just take this back a little bit. You can just hear a bit of this track. All right. Ooh, you know what I mean. All right, we got Samuel H on the guitar. He's gonna rock us out. All right, so here we go. So that was a lot of fun, and ended up being able to layer some nice guitar parts there, including some soloing there at the end. All right, thanks very much. Well done, Samuel. This is a recording that we did fairly quickly in our lessons. This is Tull playing a song called Scarred for Life. It was quite a challenging piece to learn and really get in time. So we'll just build up these layers again and listen to Tull playing along with the bass and the drums here. So this is an example of what we can do in fairly short order within a lesson time, and really, in lieu of actually doing a performance, this is the next best thing because it really requires the student to focus and play basically in perfect time. So when it comes to some of the challenging pieces, it's a really great sort of means of summative assessment in a sense, and formative assessment too, where we're going along and just able to get a good indication of how the song's progressing. In this case, quite well. And we'll play a bit of this piece at a time. Build up, here comes the bass part. Oh, these are the drums, and then bass is here. As normal, as a typical rhythm section, and I'll bring in Tull, starting. So that's a really nice playing, and there's a lot of really great elements there, particularly the rhythm and having to strum off beats effectively. So the bass and the drums really give a great context for students to engage with rhythm in a really close way, almost as if they're playing with a small ensemble. So there's a lot of advantages to going through the recording process if it can be made efficient and speedy within the lesson time. So for really tidying up pieces and making them work, it's a great tool. All right, thanks very much. This is a recording of Bianca in year 3 playing a song by Katy Perry called Roar. It has a few parts to it. We did quite a bit of doubling, which means recording the same part more than once. And we did this with the vocals, and we did some multiple guitar parts as well. And then I added in a few. I couldn't resist adding in a couple of little extra keyboard and drum elements to the song, as Bianca was sounding really good and confident with the piece. So I'll just run you through the layers that we put together here quickly. So we start with the drums as normal. Quite a good modern contemporary drum beat. And then I started with a bass again. And then we started with the first initial process here is as a guitar exercise and a guitar song to learn is to strum the chords proficiently and solidly. So that was the first step for Bianca, was to lay down the guitar rhythm. And there's our bed track for laying down the vocal parts. So, and again, we'll hear Bianca singing one track, and then we'll bring in a second track of the vocal, and we'll hear all that together. Here's track vocal 1.
I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, get to rock the boat and make a mess. So I
and here's the second vocal coming in now.
Agree politely. I was a leopard, God, I had a choice.
Got a little drum fill coming up here.
I stood for nothing,
here we go.
so I fell for everything. She held me down, but I got up. Hey, already brushing off the dust. To hear my voice, to hear that sound, like I'm gonna take the...
And it really is quite a nice production, I think, we put together in over a couple of lessons, where we really got into adding quite a few layers to a song that we learned in class time. Thank you.